Well, it is really starting to look increasingly likely that we're going to have to delay the election. This hangs, of course, entirely on what happens on Friday. If we have any extension of the lockdown restrictions beyond Friday, quite frankly, whatsoever, then the election has got to be delayed. I'm actually not a fan of delaying the election. I've argued against it earlier this year, mainly because I worry about the effect on democracy. But there is a point at which holding the election may be more damaging to democracy than delaying it. Now, if we're going to hold an election while we're living under restrictions, even under level 2, we can't have campaign launches, we can't have town hall meetings, and the further up the restriction levels you go, you can't even meet the candidates. Already, the National Party has cancelled its campaign launch on Sunday. Already, we are seeing the democratic impact of these restrictions. As long as we are under restrictions, there will be very little space for anything other than COVID. We in the media will quite rightly be flat tack bringing you the COVID updates and the things you need to know. What the rules are, if you need to get tested, where you need to get tested, what restrictions you're under. We're not going to have the column inches and the radio and TV time to be able to talk about policy and to contest ideas. COVID is going to drown out everything else. The government is obviously open to delaying the election. That's at least part of the reason why Parliament's dissolution was delayed today. This brings us then to the question, by how much do you delay it? Now, honestly, I think we need to seriously consider pushing it out to next year. At the moment, the pundits are floating the idea of a November election, but I don't think that's going to solve the problem. Flare-ups, as we know, are a possibility, which means we can't rule out further flare-ups in the medium term. Now, we can't really rule it out next year either, but perhaps by then the world has started to settle down a little bit. We need our politicians right now to be focused on nothing other than the response, right? The COVID response. We have already seen how distracting this election has been this year. The government has dodged decisions, played things safe, prevaricated on risky subjects. Politically, you can't blame them. It is exactly what they should do if they want to win the election. So let's take the election out of the equation. We don't need to add another 2 months to November of risk-averse governance at a time when the country needs bold and brave decision-making. We don't need a government with one eye on an election. We need them right now to make decisions in the best interests of this country, not in the best interests of their election strategy.